Hey, welcome to the Rise of You podcast. Today's episode is truly a special one. We're going to dive into the powerful world of Feng Shui, energy alignment, and success mindset with none other than Marie Diamond, a globally renowned transformational teacher and a key expert that was featured in The Secret. Yes, the documentary that's on Netflix. If you've ever seen it, I know I have. Have you ever wondered, how does the energy of your space impact your success and confidence? What small shifts can you make today to attract more abundance and opportunities? And is your environment helping you or is it hindering your growth? Well, Marie has worked with top leaders around the world, celebrities and entrepreneurs, helping them harness the power of Feng Shui. And today she's going to teach us some major strategies that we can implement in our life and our environment today. So get ready for an eye-opening conversation filled with practical strategies. Let's jump into the Rise Up For You podcast. Here we go. Hi, Marie. Welcome to the Rise Up For You podcast. It's such an honor to have you on the show. Very much looking forward to our talk today.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. So for those of you that are listening, Marie and I actually met. We did a talk show together called The Office Hours with David Meltzer. And I was on the panel with David. I was one of the co-hosts. Marie was a guest. And I absolutely love what you're doing, talking about environment, Feng Shui, just colors and kind of how to help you be a better performer. And I would say be stress-free based off of your environment. But I'd love for you to tell the audience a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, thank you so much for asking me. Yeah, that was a fun experience, you interviewing me there. Who am I? I'm quite a well-known global transformation leader. You have seen me probably in the hit movie The Secret and 14 other transformational documentaries that are out there. I have more than 2 million online students, and as a Feng Shui master, I share with people how your environment can really affect your manifestation, your effect on your business can be very intense just if you have the wrong environment or the wrong things around you. So from background, I'm an international criminal lawyer from Belgium. And so I work for the government in Belgium and in Europe. And I changed the direction of my journey when I was 31 years old, when I started teaching about meditation, teaching about manifestation, teaching about how the mindset can really uplift you. And I started having a consulting company on that level. And before I knew it, I was moved actually to the United States 5 years later. And that's when I became quite a well-known transformational speaker and teacher. And with The Secret, we have reached more than 500 million people. So that's quite impressive. And so my work is right now is through my new book, Your Home is a Vision Board, and to all my online courses, is to bring this old knowledge, ancient knowledge of Feng Shui that I was trained by in Malaysia as a classic Feng Shui master, to bring that mainstream, to really bring that together with quantum physics, to connect that with the mindset. And so bring that mainstream has been, for example, done by having a TV show, Feng Shui Your Life, on Tubi, the Fox streaming platform. And but also by my Instagram, Marie Diamond Official, that has last year alone 20 million organic views from all the videos we put out there. So it's really making sure that people become aware that there is a missing link that they are not focusing on enough, and that is their environment.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions for you, Marie. First, just for our audience, because our audience is made up of executives, entrepreneurs, a lot of professional leaders. Can you just give the definition of what is Feng Shui? For those that are listening that are like, I've heard this word, but what does it really mean? Can you just break it down for us?
Yeah, of course. So Feng Shui, it literally means wind and water. And it's an ancient energy system that has been practiced in China and around Asia for thousands of years. And I compare it really a little bit with acupuncture. So, for example, if you go to an acupuncturist, they will find out where the blockages are and they will put some acupressure or they will put a needle on it. And so the energy starts flowing again into your body and you start feeling better. So, think about that your home, your office is a bigger body. Right. And so by placing certain things, certain colors, certain symbols, the way you position yourself, things you activate, you're actually creating more flow in your environment. And I think most people feel that really like from their gut feeling, like they come somewhere else in and they're like, oh, I love it here. But they have not really an idea why that is, right? Well, in other places, they come in like, oh, I don't want to hang out here for a long time because there's something off. So
Yeah.
that is the same with a restaurant visit, or it could be an office that they're visiting. And then what we have seen, and I start doing that in bringing that together, because one of the things I studied was I did environmental management.
Okay.
One of my minors that I studied, and started working with petrochemical companies in the 90s already, where they were asking me like, Marie, we have problems with a high level of absenteeism or high level of accidents. And so we don't, our fatalities even, and we don't know why that is. We have done the highest level of safety procedures. Everybody is briefed, everybody is educated, and still we have all these issues happening. So I told them that it could be that the environment just before they go on the space where they have to work is probably off. So we would actually start changing some things in their offices or in where they got briefed. We set out other images, other colors, and they start seeing that the absenteeism went down. The level of fatalities actually went down also. And they also saw that people had less accidents. So because they done everything to change the mindset and the procedures and the protocols, but they didn't change the environment. And it was still cluttery. It looked like old images. The values were not represented of the company, of the work ethics that they needed to have were not represented in their environment. So the moment we start changing that, they start seeing a huge difference. And I started working with, all the major petrochemical companies in Europe at that time, in Belgium and the Netherlands and France, and with great results. And that's how I really knew that I was onto something, to understand that there's also something called the flow of energy. And so I know it's not something we can measure right away, but there have been some studies done also, like, for example, in Harvard and Stanford, that where there's clutter, where there's chaos, where there's things not organized, that it does affect the mindset. It does affect the mood
Sure.
and energy of
Yeah.
people. And we all know that. I mean, that's like a common knowledge when we start working on our office and there's like piles of
Yeah.
things on our desk. It's hard to concentrate till we kind of like, okay, let me take out all the glasses and I don't know, files and books that are like
Yeah.
hanging around, the papers that we put here. Let me clear this out. It's like as you're clearing your environment, you're clearing your mind. And that's like a first step that people can start doing that. But there's an ancient system behind it that has been around for thousands of years. And I studied that as a classical trained Feng Shui master, but I brought it together in a more modern way so that people become more aware of like, oh, that is something I felt that, but I didn't pay attention to it.
Yes. Or they didn't understand it. It's interesting when you're talking, years ago, Marie, like 20 something years ago, I used to be an educator. And I remember the first time I had my own classroom as a teacher, in the summer, you go into the class to kind of prepare it. And the teacher before, it was like a prison cell. They like, all the windows were blocked with paper. There was no sunlight. There was nothing on the walls that was exciting. And I remember thinking, but I didn't know why, just like you were saying, how do kids learn in this classroom? It's so dark and it doesn't feel good. And I remember like tearing down the paper on the windows, like putting up all of this color and like creating a space where the kids walked in, they were excited to learn. But just like you said, I didn't understand why I was doing that. I just knew that it didn't feel good and it didn't feel productive. I'm curious because obviously you mentioned a little bit about your background in Belgium and you were more in the criminal space. Like, how did you transition? How did you get into this feng shui and decide that like you were going to focus on this area? Like, how did that happen for you?
Well, it really started in quite an interesting way. It's like when I was 15, I was, of course, a high school student, and I had a major accident. I had a near-death experience, and so when I came out of recovery, I asked an American mentor, because my family was very connected with America at that time, somebody who like had a lot of wisdom, and I asked him like, what did I do wrong? Like, why do I attract this? I had like 3 accidents in a row. And he just said to me, "Oh, Marie, you have bad feng shui." So it's the first time I have heard that message. And of course, I started researching it in online, not online libraries, normal libraries. Of course, that was not available. No book on feng shui was available in Belgium. And it only took like 10 years later when I found the book. But it was really interesting. He told me the first thing, very similar to what you just shared, is like I was in a space that was in the north side of the house where there was no sunlight coming in, and I was quite depressed as a child. And so I slept very badly. I had like nightmares and so on. And so then he said, "Why don't you move to the another side of your home?" My brothers just moved out of the house. So it was on the west side where the sun was coming in the whole afternoon. And it was like I changed the colors in like from very bluish to like peach and orange, and had very bright colors. I changed the images because the images were like from my sister. I inherited my sister's room that nobody changed. So I changed it, put my own personal touch on it. And it was like my life shifted. It was like so interesting. It was like from being bullied at school, I became popular. It
Oh,
was my first love appeared. I was like so optimistic. My relationships with
wow.
my family changed. So, and that's actually how I started. But of course, I only knew the basic things, right? And so, but I was really focused on creating big impact already at that time. And so what happened is I started studying law because I want to become a diplomat. I want to work on governmental level so I could really create a big difference in my society. And so, and it's as I practice all these things, like the way I position my desk, some items I had around me, some images, so like some basic things. I'm going to talk about a bit more on it. But interesting enough was like I got like an amazing career, right? I was already leading big projects at 27 that normally they would give to somebody who's in their 40s. And I was just like promotion after promotion. And so, and then I really felt like, I wanted to take a little bit more time for my family too, because I got pregnant. So I started a consulting company, and the people in the government were like, no, we want to keep you as a consultant because all your projects are going so
Yeah.
easy, so effortless. We don't know what you do, but it's amazing. But of course, I was also meditating. I was really, visualizing. And so a lot of the politicians that were actually my colleagues that I worked with before, they start coming to me I was consulting them, and they were like, "What do? You always have this high energy." And I'm like, "Well, I meditate, I do feng shui." So they're like, they became my first clients. Yeah. And it was like, I remember one of the first 2 years, I was actually feng shuiing the office of the Prime Minister of Belgium. So it
Wow.
was just like, because it was like referrals, right? So, like, at that
Yes.
moment, nobody really knew what I was doing. I didn't really give it so much a name. But then I started studying at 31. I went to Malaysia, started studying with grandmasters to really know. And I love the fact that my grandmaster was a billionaire. He was a tycoon. And when he was 60, he stopped his career and became a feng shui master. So I love the fact that he was, a billionaire, super smart, master in kung fu, black belt, and a feng shui master. So
Wow.
I love that combination because he had practiced all this information as building his company. Yeah. What in Asia is very normal. If you are one of the top business leaders or you have big companies, you always have a feng shui master supporting you. Yeah. And
Interesting.
so I thought like, well, that's an ideal person to teach me. So that I was very lucky to be part of his students. And when I graduated, I actually started teaching right away in Belgium, and had right away a lot of business people was in business articles. People were like, "Oh, there's something new we could really add to this," and that's how I got all these high-end clients in the petrochemical industry.
I love, thank you for sharing that. And I love really the journey and what you just shared, because I believe there's a lot of times that individuals they're not aware and they're not conscious to the things that are coming into their life.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's everything from them tripping over a box or getting, God forbid, in a car accident. And I'm sure we've all had friends where there's just a bunch of things that they keep attracting, but they don't know why they're attracting them. And they don't understand that there's an energy or there's an environment around them that's allowing this kind of negativity to come into their space. And
yeah,
so I think you're touching upon something that's really important. You're developing an awareness and a consciousness to the fact that the things that you're surrounded by will have a direct impact on kind of what's happening to your life. So I know that you have the new book, right? Your home is a vision board. Yeah. Oh, yay. I love that. Beautiful book, beautiful cover. Talk to us a little bit about the inspiration behind the book. And then I'd love for you to share even just a few strategies for our audience. Please, everybody go get the book, because I'm a firm believer in everything that you're talking about, Marie. I mean, even you might even be able to tell by my background. It's just like, it's pretty clean, not a lot of clutter. I have a little tree behind me. I believe that the space that's around you will impact your productivity and the beliefs and kind of how you show up. So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about the inspiration of the book, and maybe just a few strategies that we can start to be more aware of.
Yes, with pleasure. So, one of the things when I was in The Secret, one of the speakers, John Asraf, was speaking about the vision board,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if you put your goals and your images that you want to visualize on a piece of paper and you put it out, it will be helpful to visualize your outcome, your results. Now, interesting enough is like I started telling many years ago, your home is a vision board. Like it's not just what you put on paper, but everything around you is subconsciously giving you a message. So if it's clutter, if it's images around you in your office that you're thinking like, is this reflecting my business? For example, if I go into a business and I see images that are totally not related with their products, with their team, I always say, what message are you giving? Like literally could be an image of your products that you make, of the processes. So people stay in tune with what you want to do, or anything related with your values or the outcome, your clients. So the more you surround yourself with all that, the more your focus is going to be.
Yeah.
So I shared with that in your home is a vision board. I give them a little bit of my story, how I became successful and what I did, but I also give them like practical steps, how to go step by step into creating more abundance, creating better relationships in their environment by practicing that acupuncture level, right? And speaking about acupuncture, I'm going to comment a little bit on your background. So you have this big tree, right? Now, anything that is sharp or edgy, and you have a tree with a lot of sharp edges, is actually going to not help you because it will create more criticism towards you. You're actually being pointed at from all these leaves. So the first thing I would love for you to do is change that around, put a lush plant. Yeah.
Okay.
There's even a little plant behind you
Even
again
the
to
one right here. Yeah. Okay.
so, for example, orchids are really nice, anything with round, because feng shui is all about making things flow. Right now, it's too sharp. So remove that. That's the first thing. And because it's
Okay.
very
Done.
round,
Done. Done. I
right?
will do
The book,
that.
beautiful, the rest is gorgeous. But this is like one of the things we're talking about. Now, based on your birthday, there's also some things you can activate. So people can download my free app, the Mary Diamond app. And
Okay.
so
We'll
they
put it in the
App
notes.
Store. And the book actually help with the app helps you to go through that. And so what is there is that based on your birthday, you will actually have four directions of the compass that are strong for you.
Okay.
So that's where the energy comes the strongest in. So you will see if you download the app and go through the system, and it's for free. So you actually will get a diamond compass. Yeah.
Oh,
So on the
cool.
compass, you will have a success, relationship, health, and wisdom direction. Now, for business, we focus on success. Yeah. So what people do is they hold the app in the center of the office, and then they need to look what is in their success area. So my success is behind me. Now you don't see it, but each time I come in, energetically, it's there. I have all my books there, my courses, my awards are there. Yeah. I have symbols there that, even my contracts are in the cabinet there. So it's like an activation point of success. Now, if you have clutter there, if you have a garbage bin there, it's going to block the energy of coming in. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that for you, just so because I want to make sure we have this right, because from your app, so make sure you download the app, everyone. Marie Diamond, right, is the app you said. So you're saying that because based off of your birthday, your success is behind you energetically, and
Yeah,
so
because it's in the southwest for me.
okay, okay, and so
So for
you,
you, could
yep,
be east, could be west, I don't know, right? So you always have to, for me, unfortunately, I cannot see it. I'm actually looking at my wisdom direction. So
okay,
because there's another priority we always need to have, and that is we always need to see the door. So think about all the top CEOs, think about the president of the United States, right? They are always seeing the door. They always see the people coming in. Even if you work digital, right?
yep,
Always make sure you are able to see the door. I don't know if you can see the door from where you are
I
right now.
can, yes, it's right
Yeah.
here.
Right? So energetically, if somebody would walk in, you can say hello to them because the people come with opportunities and possibilities and new ideas, right? So always put a chair on the other side of your desk so that literally you're saying to whoever is coming in, welcome, right? Never sit with your back to the door because you're closing yourself off from opportunities. And you will see perhaps a receptionist will sit with their back to the door, but the CEO will never do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And a
yeah,
lot of people are working now from home. And I'm always saying your home has now become your headquarters.
that's
Yeah,
right, that's right.
right? It's not just you go to an office, it has become perhaps in the dining room, perhaps you're having your own space, perhaps you're in the sofa, wherever you're sitting, always see people are able to come in the normal direction. Don't look at the bathroom door, that's not important. So that's the first rule. The second rule is then take the app and in that room that you spend time to work, look at what is in your success direction. And you will see it's not only based on the birthday, but also on your birth gender. Yeah, it's a male and female is different calculation, and it's something different than numerology. It's a much more intrinsic formulation, because feng shui is ultimately actually connected with the degrees of the compass, and
Okay,
is connected with mathematics. So it's a very mathematical system, to be honest. So if you go more deeper in, thank God I was very good in mathematics. Otherwise, I would not have been able to become a feng shui master. But you also will have a relationship direction. Yeah. So
okay, yeah,
you will hold again the app, the compass in the center of your space and look at what is in your relationship energy. If in your relationship energy there's clutter, there's nothing representing your clients. And for me, I put a globe there because I have students in more than 190 countries. So the globe represents my students. Yeah. But it could be, I have an image there of my team, for example, right? So it could be clients that you have that you're working with, like logos of your major clients that you put
yep,
out. So anything that relates with your clientele. Now, of course, in your bedroom, that won't be focused on your business. You'll focus there on your personal love life, right?
yes.
And in the living room, you can practice the same thing, but then focus on your family. Yeah. So based on that, you can really direct the vibration. And it's like acupuncture, you put things in place, and then we work with certain colors, we work with certain symbols that we can place there. But again, it's like you have most of the time the things you need. Like you have perhaps books on leadership, put them in your success direction. You have books on marketing, put them
Yeah.
in your relationship direction.
Yes,
You have
yep.
books on wealth management, put them in your success direction. So when I come in people's homes and I go into CEOs offices, it doesn't look like it's feng shui, but it is feng shui because I use what they have, their awards, their books, their images of their company, the logos, but it's all aligned with their focus and their goals.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Please make sure you download the app if you're listening. I'm going to download the app when I'm done because I want to see based off my birthday.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to ditch the tree behind me, Marie, and I'm going to ditch the little succulent. Marie, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much. I'd love to jump into the power section of the interview
Yeah.
and ask you some rapid fire questions. So the first question is, we always like to ask, if you were to leave the world behind, we call it a golden nugget. What's the golden nugget that you would leave to the world?
I think the golden nugget would be that we're holding on too much to the past, that we are not enough in the present time, and that it's very important to let go of past failures. Perhaps you need to use some power of forgiveness to release that. So I think we need to always be so present and grateful for the moment we live. And so that will create a new energy forward.
I love that. Thank you. And here at Rise Up for You, we're very big on values. So if you were to have, what's one value for you that's just a non-negotiable?
It actually is love. So my first question is always, do I love it? Yeah. Is it creating love for others? It's also my first question every morning. How can I love more? How can I love more myself? How can I love more my customers? How can I let them feel more the love I have for them? So that's a non-negotiable for me.
I love that. And I have one final question for you. But before I ask, can you tell us a little bit more about where we can find you on social media, where we can buy your book? We'd love to support you.
Of course. So my book, Your Home is a Vision Board, can be bought on good bookstores and on Amazon, of course. You can find me on both YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram under Marie Diamond Official. And if
Great.
you want to know more information, you can go to mariediamond.com.
Perfect. And we'll put all that in the show notes for you. Final question, Marie. As you know, our company is called Rise Up for You. What comes to mind for you when you hear that phrase?
Well, I think it's something that people need to focus on every day. There's so much that is happening in the world that they feel dragged down, right? So it's actually asking yourself that question, what can I do to rise up? To rise up in my creativity, in my success, in my relationships? How can I go to the next level? Because I think we all have that ability to really go to a new you, a new self, but you need to give yourself permission also to go there. And
Yeah.
so sometimes your people around you will say, like, why would you do that? Or that's not necessary. Stay where you are. But I do believe we're here to evolve. We are here to rise up to a next level of our existence.
That's one of the best answers I've heard, Marie. Thank you. This is like 600 episodes. So thank you so much. Such an honor to have you on the show. Truly is. Everyone, make sure that you check out Marie Diamond doing some incredible work. And thank you again for joining the Rise Up For You podcast. This is your host, Nada Lena Nasserdeen. Every single week, we're bringing you brand new episodes with amazing thought leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs from around the world that have a sole focus to help you be your absolute best. Whether it's you, your team, your community, we're here to elevate you and your success. Thanks for joining us. Marie, thank you for joining us again on the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hi, I'm Nada Lena Nasserdeen, the CEO and the founder of Rise Up For You and the podcast host of the Rise Up For You podcast. I want to remind you all that our show is completely ad-free and commercial-free. That's right. We want to make sure that you get full access to this podcast interview without any interruptions. So I have just a really small ask for you. We would be absolutely honored if you can share this podcast, send it to your family, your friends, your coworkers. Help us get the message out for this podcast because we are bringing you amazing interviews every single week with executives, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders that are here to help you become your absolute best. Share this podcast with anyone that you think would love to listen to it. Don't forget to subscribe and like so that you can get access every single week to the episodes that we're bringing straight to you. We appreciate you, and without you, this podcast would not exist.